It's time for Tech Tuesday. Join me now to talk about a very interesting topic is Dhruv Bhutani, editor at Android Authority. Thanks so much, Dhruv, for taking the time. We're going to talk about the Google Flagship event. For somebody who is not in the know, could you explain why this is so significant?
So basically, think of this as Google's announcement of everything that it's going to come up with for the rest of the year, and it's especially focused more on the Android side of things. So you get to know all about what's next for Android, as well as to a certain degree, occasionally Google will also make hardware announcements. So there have been occasions when you've got to know more about the smart home ecosystems, audio products, and even phones for that matter. So this is Google's time to show off what it's been working on and what it has lined up for the year ahead.
What's lined up? Because I believe it's taking place tomorrow and day after tomorrow, rather
Right.
11th and 12th of May. What is expected to be announced?
So there's actually a range of announcements that are expected. The most obvious one, of course, is Google will be talking about Android 13, which makes sense because this is a developer event. They'll be working with developers to help them optimize their apps for Android 13 as well. Uh, but we should be getting, the first information about the upcoming release, and this includes improvements to how the theming works, how the interface looks. There's supposed to be more privacy-related announcements as well. For example, QR codes will perform better on phones. NFC is going to be a little more secure. There's going to be a bunch of new feature additions as well. For example, support for Bluetooth LE. So all of these little things, combined. It's not going to be a landmark release for Android this year. Google did refresh the entire interface last year. So, you're probably going to see more of tweaks to the interface and usability than, something all out absolutely new. But that's on the Android side of things. There are a few rumors on the hardware side of things as well. And that's mostly around the fact that it is expected that Google might be announcing a budget price Pixel. Now, India hasn't had a flagship Pixel in quite some time. So this one called the Pixel 6a, if it does release, it might be the one which actually makes its way to India, since India seems to be mostly getting the A series of phones from Google. In addition to that, there are rumors that Google is working on a smartwatch. In fact, a smartwatch made by Google leaked quite recently, which adds more fuel to the fire that Google might finally announce this. And we might possibly see the fruits of Google's acquisition of Fitbit with this watch. And there's one more rumor, and that's on the smart home side of things, which is that Google might be working on a Nest Hub. Now, the Nest Hub is a smart display made by Google, but this time around, it might have a detachable screen on it. So once you have it placed on the side table, you can use it for all your smart home activities, but you can also take out the display, carry it around, use it for Netflix, or just for controlling your smart home from wherever you are in the house. So, yeah, those are the few things that are expected to launch. But, as things go, you never know. There might be one more thing that we don't know about.
You said one more thing. It brought back memories of another tech event. But let's talk about some of these things individually, because I'm curious about the Pixel. Because like you said, there hasn't been an offering on the hardware side for a while, or there hasn't been a Pixel. Any rumors as to how this is going to turn out, where it's going to slot in, what's it going to offer?
The thing is, Google doesn't manufacture these phones in India, so if we talk about just being hyper competitive in terms of price, that's probably not going to be the case again. But what they do offer is, best in class imaging. So even at the mid range price point, you're still going to get flagship grade cameras, and that has been Google's thing right from the beginning. So all rumors point to the new Pixel 6a basically bringing the same Tensor chipset which Google debuted in the Pixel 6 series, and pairing it with maybe one or two lenses instead of the trifecta of lenses, or the dual lenses that we've seen on the regular Pixel 6. Maybe some compromises on the display side. It might miss out on wireless charging, but you cut down on the other extraneous features and you give the core feature set that Pixel users seem to want, which is basically imaging and pure Android. So that at a price point of say about 35,000 rupees might actually be a pretty good deal if it pans out, of course.
Okay, yeah, of course, it's conjecture at this point, but we'll know soon enough. Talking
Right.
about the Google Pixel Watch, it goes up
Hmm.
against some pretty massive behemoths in the industry. Do you think that
Right.
it'll have enough to sway users that have been used to a certain look, feel, touch of tech?
So you know what? Let's leave the elephant in the closet. Like let's leave the Apple Watch aside for the moment because that is the benchmark for all smartwatches at the moment. Uh, Google's all entire efforts with the in the smartwatch space have been lackluster to say the least. In fact, they've partnered with Samsung to get their expertise in to improve battery life, to improve performance, to help create a more cohesive smartwatch experience for the end customer. What I'm hoping to see this time around is that all of the smarts, the health related smarts, and all the data that Fitbit has, all of that integrated into the Android Wear experience. And of course, Google will have to differentiate on design because you can't just do the same old square or a round design that's been done to death. And by all estimates, so far, all the leaked images that we've seen so far, since a customer did actually end up picking up a prototype device lying around in a cafe, that did happen a few weeks ago. So we have a bit of an idea what it might look like. It seems that Google is going for a very clean look, a round display, uh, use of chrome materials to help make the watch look like a piece of jewelry than just a smartwatch. So all of these put together, at the end of the day, the proof is in the pudding. Uh, they have to deliver on the end user experience and great battery life. Those are the two areas which have always been a failure for Android Wear. So if they can deliver that, I think they might have a winner on their hands.
This is the most important point that I want to know from you. And since this is the ET Money Show, we leave people with actionable insight.
Mm.
The question really is, of course, we're waiting for these announcements, and the launches will be some time away. But you don't replace
Mm.
tech every month necessarily.
No.
Would you suggest that they should hold off on purchases because these could be big or worthy enough to add to what they use?
So absolutely in the case of the Pixel 6a, if you're looking at a mid-ranger, and there is a good likelihood that if this phone is being released, it will come to India. Uh, from like you said, this is the money show. A Google Pixel phone is going to last you 4, maybe even 5 years. With all the latest updates, it's going to have a clean interface. With all of that in mind, it just makes sense that you should wait another month or so. And if it comes to India, then that's definitely going to be one of the contenders for one of the best mid-range phones. So definitely makes sense. When it comes to the watch, that's where things get complicated. If you're an Apple user, well, I think it's a no-brainer for you. You have to go for the Apple Watch. For everybody else, there's Samsung, which provides a more cohesive, like they've been doing the smartwatch business for a while now. They know what they're making, and they make great products. But then again, if you want the completely stripped down, bare, clean experience with great performance and hopefully excellent battery life, uh, there is a possibility that the Pixel Watch might end up being the superior product, especially because Google has all of that data from Fitbit. Once again, it's a long-term purchase. You might as well wait.
One last point, and we've not really spoken about this too much. You've mentioned what this
Mhm.
is about, the Nest Hub.
Right.
Essentially, it's going up against the other smart speakers, right? You're talking about Amazon's
Mhm.
Alexa, but it's offering you something entirely different. Would you go
Mhm.
so far as to say that it could be path breaking? It could change the way that you consume entertainment at home, or do you think that that might be a bit of a stretch?
So it's a little interesting because the primary use case for most tablet users is basically watching Netflix, and on the smart home side, maybe watching Netflix and reading. a bit. Most users are not actually looking for top of the line performance to play games. They just want to consume media. And when you've already got a display, a smart home display at home, which is for the most part just sitting there, the natural evolution of that product is that you figure out a way to make it do both tasks. It's going to be sitting there. It can be used like a smart display, as a smart speaker. And when you do want to watch content on it for the next few hours, just pick it up and use it. Uh, that's what the rumors suggest are going to be the case with the next Nest Hub. But I honestly wouldn't be surprised that if Amazon also built something like this for the next generation of products, because it just makes sense. There's only that much that you can do in terms of hardware innovation. So will it be path breaking? I think the customers will decide that if it picks up or not. But I can absolutely see a large subset of users picking this up simply because it'll serve their requirements. It's a smart display and a tablet combined in one. That's basically all you need. I know that that's all I need.
Fantastic. On that note, thank you so much, Dhruv, for taking the time. Appreciate it. And we'll touch base soon enough to find out what is announced at the Google event.
Absolutely.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me.